Hi from me, Lauren Joffe, and welcome back to another uplifting episode of Derech Eretz. Margaret J. Wheatley once said, "There is no power for change greater than a community discovering what it cares about." Community upliftment is about raising the conditions and spirit of those around one. Rabbi David Weinberg elaborates further.
While wealthier societies also have strong welfare programs, we have learned in the 20th and 21st century that welfare programs on its own do not solve poverty. They don't cure unemployment. There is a very interesting and fine balance that society has learned through a number of experiments and experiences that show us that there is a line between helping somebody else and enabling somebody else. It is the challenge of society to learn how to help somebody else, while at the same time empowering and encouraging them to take ownership. This isn't simply in order to be able to afford the welfare state. It's in order to give the beneficiary, the recipient, dignity and happiness. We are not happier when we simply receive. We are happier when we are productive. It is the natural and healthy state of a human being. And so Maimonides tells us that the way to give in its most ideal sense is to look for the other so that he can stand or she can stand on their own feet, that they can stand up and take responsibility, that they can themselves become givers. And Maimonides teaches this not only in the benefit of the recipient, but for the benefit of you, the giver, as well. He asks the question, if you have a specific amount of money to share, do you give it out immediately, or do you give it out bit by bit? And his answer is, give it out and distribute that money bit by bit. Every day, a little bit. Because that way, you become a giver. That way, you exercise your muscle of generosity, kindness, and caring. The more often you give, the more of a giver you become. It's not a one-minute activity. It's not a one-moment experience, but it becomes part of who you are. It trains and develops you to become a better person as well. That is the gift, ideal gift of giving. Becoming a true giver and giving the other person the opportunity also to become a giver. I heard the story from Joseph Telushkin, a well-known Jewish author and personality, that his father served as the accountant for the Lubavitcher Rebbe of blessed memory. After a particularly serious health issue where the accountant was confined to the hospital, an accounting question arose in the office of the Rebbe. His response to the secretaries was, "Ask Mr. Telushkin." His son Joseph was flabbergasted. Where was the Rebbe's sensitivity? His father was lying after a stroke. We didn't have the ability to speak very well. He was infirm and in a hospital bed. Why bother him with this question? But when the secretary came, spoke to the patient accountant and asked him the question, the accountant looked puzzled and very quickly was able to give the answer. It wasn't a complicated question. And that's when Joseph realized that the Rebbe was showing ingenious sensitivity. Here's a man lying infirm, not knowing about his future. Can he be productive? Does he have a future? And suddenly here he is, helping one of the great personalities of Judaism with one of their questions, an accounting question, something he could help, something he could assist, something he could support from his hospital bed. The relief, the strength that this gave his father taught him a lesson in sensitivity and a lesson in giving. Giving is not simply handing something over to somebody else. It's empowering them to feel responsible, to feel productive, and in that way, they become givers themselves.
When you empower a woman, you empower her family, community, and the nation. Since August 2016, Hangar 18, a social upliftment program, has been providing training in the craft of crochet to unemployed ladies in Joe Slovo, Molliton, Cape Town. Since inception, over 60 ladies have been empowered and have since moved on to full-time employment. The core objectives of the project are to upskill, empower and uplift, all within an environment focused on increased self-worth whilst maintaining environment sustainability.
A friend of mine called me that works in this business park, and he said we need a coffee shop, and I've got a little bit of a history of coffee shop in my past, and we came to look at the venue, and because it was so big, we realized we wouldn't have the funding to kit out the whole place as a coffee shop. So we decided this was the opportunity for us to be able to do what's always been a passion, which is to give back to the community. And with Joe Slovo Park being directly beside us, this was the perfect community for us to start with. And so we divided the space. The ladies are on the one side and the coffee shop's on the other side, and it's a very unique experience to come to Hangar 18 and have a coffee or a breakfast, because you get to interact with these phenomenal women that are so uplifting in themselves to us, and see what it's all about and watch this creativity going on.
At the beginning, my interaction with the ladies was teaching them how to make the mats. If they didn't know how to crochet, teaching them how to crochet. And you know, it just grew into what it has become, and it's more like being with a family. They are our family.
When I came here, I met my friend Noria. She introduced me here. After that, I came here because I was not doing anything at home. I came here, I started crocheting with pranks, plastic. I made a bag that was nice to my gogo. Then she told me to start making mats. When I came here, I made a first mat that was not right. Then she told me that that mat was not right. Yeah, then after a week, I found that myself I was making a very good mat.
Because this is a business, quality is vitally important. And I always used to do the quality control myself, trained our supervisors to do it. They do it on a daily basis. They've got a special book that they write in. Anything that has flaws, they either hand it back and say fix, or they reject the mat outright. And the girls know that we pay for the finished product, and it's got to be good.
We started off making the mats, the bath mats, they're 80 by 50 centimeters with the t-shirt yarn. And over time we realized that there's a need for, or that we had the capacity to introduce other products. So what we would do is we'd find something like the Tunisian crochet stitch, which is what we use on the cushions, and then we would teach the ladies how to do the stitch and say, okay, let's make cushion covers with this, or baskets, and use that stitch. So always evolving with new stitches and new styles, so that we could enlarge the range and also to keep the growth of the women's skills base.
We give them material which we buy. They make whatever product we ask them to make, or teach them how to make it. They each have their own tags to put on it so that we know who made what. I add them all up, and we pay them for each item that they have made.
Hangar 18, the coffee shop, has, as much as we can do, environmental policy that is zero waste and recycling. So we've got paper straws, and we've got cardboard and paper packaging. And to introduce that into the foundation, we realized we could work with plastic shopping bags. So there's a special cutting technique that the ladies use, and we did some research, and they've made handbags and mats and baskets and hats, all using used plastic shopping bags. So as part of our environmental zero waste, or to improve our carbon footprint, We've found other products we can make using upcycled materials, because the tea yarn is actually a waste product from the mill, as is the plastic. So all these products around us have evolved from want to teach the ladies more styles of crocheting and more stitches, and also the need to save the oceans and save the environment from the blight of plastic.
This empowers them amazingly. Number one, because it gives them an amazing confidence, and they have control of their own lives. They're earning. Their children are going to creche because they're earning enough money to put the children in creche. It's a marvelous thing, and they go into Slovo, and people say, "What do you do?" And they tell them, and they say, "But we're looking for work." They say, "Come." And that's how it all comes about.
Anzanga waso nawonso amakhala osangalala ndimene tikugwirira nawo ntchito panopa. Nawonso amatha kuthandizikira vuto lina lililonse limene amatha kusolva zimene angapange pakhomo pa amatha kusolva ma problems.
When we go into the ladies' homes and into the streets of Joe Slovo, there's a community spirit there that I don't feel in my suburb. And what my mom and I always say is that even though we're an upliftment program, actually the ladies uplift us. And it's hard in there. It's a hard life. But they arrive here every day smiling and laughing, and they uplift us. And it's quite phenomenal, and it's quite heartwarming.
As for me, it has been changing my life, because at home I was not doing anything. When I came here, I started crocheting and getting something on Friday, buying something at my home, food, paying rent, and sending my money to my child at Malawi. Yeah.
This has done so much for me. I had actually gone into retirement, and I had been retired for about 6 years. And I came out and I've got a whole new life. They have introduced me into a whole new life, a whole new way of looking at life. They are just, I am very honored to be doing what I'm doing. I never in my wildest dreams knew that this would evolve into what it has. And I'm so glad I'm part of it. It made me younger, it's renewed me. It really has.
The Derech Eretz of H18 Foundation is integrity. Everything we do is, if we can, with integrity. Being human, we do err sometimes, I'm sure, but it's from our hearts, it's with passion. What we say, we do. And the integrity is based in love and in the desire to help and the passion to make sure that other people are able to enjoy their lives. So our core ethos is maintaining integrity through love for what we do and for love for the women that we help and their children, to ensure that we can just uplift as many people as possible.
The loss of a loved one is a devastating experience and leaves a person very vulnerable, traumatized, and bereft. This is a time in one's life when an organization such as Nechama provides the support so often needed in these difficult times. Nechama's vision and objectives are to endeavor to raise the level of awareness within the Jewish community of the laws and rituals pertaining to bereavement.
Nechama is a Hebrew word which means comfort. And that is what we do for those members who take advantage of the services that we offer. We provide comfort, support, and counseling.
Bereavement counseling, which is specific Jewish bereavement counseling, is marked by a variety of different times. We start with the actual bereavement. We have the 7 days of mourning, which is the Shiva period. We have the Shloshim, which is the 30 days. We then go to days when Kaddish is being said, the memorial prayer, and then we have the year, which rounds it off. And these are specific to us.
We offer a range of services, which include obviously one-on-one counseling. We have support groups, we have seminars, we have breakfast talks. We have a wide range of services that we offer the community, both those that have been bereaved and those of the general community, and not only of the Jewish faith, in order to raise the profile of Nechama and to make sure people are aware of what we do, how we do it, and then make themselves available, if need be, in order to take advantage of all that we do offer for those members.
Grief and loss is a very, very difficult time in someone's life. And in the community, even if someone is supported by family and close friends, no one really wants to hear that they're not okay. We ask someone, how are you? And we hope that we hear that they're going to say, I'm doing well. Whereas in comes a Nechama counselor who's been trained to talk and to listen and to just be there with someone in their loss. So it's an amazing service that is offered because they're okay with sitting there and hearing the stuff that no one else really wants to hear.
Our counselors are Jewish, of the Jewish faith, and what is important about that is that these time-honored rituals are part of our clients' lives. And for example, they best understand when a Yontif comes around, a Jewish festival, or when something of Judaism appears and suddenly they're alone. The counselor can give them support, is what I'd say, and still be like-minded and understanding from where they're coming, and helps them re-enter regular lives again.
All the counselors for Nechama are volunteer lay counselors who are members of the Jewish community. We provide in-service training, which is given by the psychologist who's employed by Nechama, as well as another volunteer psychologist. It starts off with a personal growth course, followed by a communication and counseling skills course, followed by a third course, which is offered by Nechama, and that is a specific counseling skills course specific to bereavement and loss.
The way that I was raised was to be involved in an aspect of community life and on a personal capacity, helping people through difficult times, through times of transition. That has been a point of interest for me. Not everybody has the patience to hear about your loss. Not everybody has the capacity to hold your space for you as you're going through such a difficult transition in life. That's something that I feel that I am able to do. And so when it comes to finding a place to volunteer in our community, this was the obvious choice for me.
It's not an automatic process to become a counsellor after these courses. The candidates have to be screened by a selection committee, which is made up of myself and the two psychologists involved. And it's a long process. It can be almost a 2-year process to be trained to be a Nechama counsellor. And then the training is ongoing because they are supervised by myself, a social worker, and by a psychologist. And they have in-service training through the supervision and through the discussion of cases. And from time to time also some workshops and training are provided by Nechama to the counsellors.
We've recently gone into palliative care counselling. Palliative care counselling, or critical care, is dealing with illnesses of a critical nature. And we've trained our counselors for up to a 10-week course with Fran Tong, very involved in the St. Luke's system. And our counselors have taken this, and it's a different type of counseling. It's comfort counseling as well. And it's counseling for not only the ill person themselves, and at times you can't even because they may be too ill. It is more about counseling or comforting or being involved with the extended family. It's sometimes difficult for them to separate themselves from the ill person, and just that separation needs a lot of discussion, etc. Outreach is one of the lesser known areas of the work that Nechama does. Our counselors have done outreach work over the years. We've been in Delft, and we've brought people from the townships to us, where we do care for the caregiver workshops and a variety of other workshops, so that we could give them and we empower them the ability to go back to their concerns, to their organizations, and assist the people that they work with there. One of the most recent ones we've done is Care for the Caregiver, to assist and burnout workshop for the Atlantic Hope, where the orphaned babies are housed. And we've worked with some of their caregivers. And it's a very rewarding kind of work. And we're very pleased that we can be part of a bigger and wider community and assist people in that way.
We get funds from the Cape Jewish Welfare Organization, although we are the smallest of the 7 welfare organizations. It is vitally important for the Jewish community of Cape Town to have Nechama as an organization, because if you had to add up the number of hours that our facilitators and counselors spend, and supervisors for that matter, spend with the people that take advantage of the service that we offer, it would come to a lot more money than that which we're getting from the community and from the Cape Jewish Welfare Council as well.
Nechama is a volunteer-based organization, and we are here to help people through their bereavements, comforting them, counseling them, and assisting them to re-enter a full life. Our vision is that we will continue to do this, and we will continue to do it with skilled and caring volunteer counselors that are fully supervised and understand confidentiality is a very important factor here. And our vision is that we will just do this as best as we can to offer this service to the community, to the Jewish community at large.
American author Coretta Scott King once said, "The greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members." We would love you to be a part of the conversation, so share your views and stories on our Facebook page at Derech Eretz Connect. From me, Lauren Jaffe, and the Derech Eretz team, remember, alone we can do so little, together we can do so much.